You're now listening to the Fullerton Unfiltered podcast. Straightforward, no nonsense business advice. Completely unfiltered. Grow your business. Grow your life. Now, here's your host, Brian Fullerton.
Hey, what's going on, guys? Well, welcome to another episode of the Fullerton Unfiltered podcast. It's your host, Brian Fullerton here, hanging out with you guys for the next 20 or 30 minutes and talking to you guys a little bit about financing equipment and helping you guys get your ducks in a row to help you grow your business for 2021. Really excited about talking about financing some different things and what I look for in thought process when we're trying to finance new equipment. I got some different things that have worked for me over the years, and I just wanted to share some advice. And here's what I'll tell you guys. Anytime you listen to somebody, myself included, I always try to preach the grocery store method, right? You go through the grocery store, you're not buying everything at the grocery store, okay? You're going to go in for what you need, pick what you want off the shelves, and something that you don't need or you're not ready for, just leave it on the shelf. So what I want to do is talk to you guys about some thought process that I've personally adopted over the years about financing equipment and what has worked for us and to help you guys grow. Now, I know a lot of us out there, you know, you guys want to pay cash for things. You want to run your business debt-free, your life debt-free. Dude, that is awesome. I'm a big proponent of that, being personally debt-free as well, and even business debt-free. However, can we just be honest for a minute? For everybody who says debt-free or die or this or that, I'm like, look, dude, more than likely you finance something along the way too. So don't give me this, the holier than thou. Well, one person only financed a shovel and the next guy, finances a dump trailer. Like, we've all sinned, right? So if you will. So in this attitude, it's, look, I understand that maybe you are a business now or paying cash for things as you go, I should say. And that's fine, but not everybody gets started that way. Can we just be honest? Can we just be real? You listen to one guy and he's got this thought process and philosophy. The next guy's got this thought process, that philosophy. That's fine. I'm not here to change anything you're doing. Here's just what I know works for me and what has helped our business grow. So that's what I want to do. If you like what I talk about, awesome. If you don't, no big deal. But I think you can still learn a couple of different things from this podcast. So where this topic came from, by the way, is a lot of you guys are doing coaching calls, and we do 4 or 5 of them a week. And I just love getting nitty gritty, breaking down the walls, just being transparent. I'm extremely transparent on those phone calls. You guys are extremely transparent on those phone calls, and we can really help move the needle forward. Well, one thing that I've been seeing a lot lately is the trend of us getting our ducks in a row for 2021, right? We're going to be growing into, spring. Before you know it, we're going to snap our fingers and winter's over, and we're going to be, rushing out the door to, believe it or not, go cut grass again. Hopefully we can recharge in between now and then, right? So this topic is very timely. I'm noticing that this topic came up about 3 or 4 times on probably the last 6 or 7 coaching calls. So to me, that means, okay, people are looking to grow. They're looking to spend money. They're looking to finance. They're looking to invest. What do they do first? What do they do next? So we're going to be talking about that on today's episode. So here's what we're going to do. Before we jump into it, I got to let you guys know, because this is a Monday episode, very timely. Monday is Cyber Monday. Okay. Cyber Monday sales are here, and I'm not going to go do a whole pitch like I did last Friday, which hopefully it didn't come off as a pitch, just trying to get you guys up to speed. But here's what I will say. Low-hanging fruit, Cujo, 20% off on the shoes. Equipment Defender, 10% off with Brian's 10, and free shipping. Literally the biggest sale of the year for Equipment Defender. So a lot of you guys used the code over the weekend. That's huge. That is huge, huge, huge if you're upgrading your trailer, utility, or enclosed. What else we got? Launchpreneuracademy.com, 15% off all training programs site-wide, which also includes the 4 postcard training bundle, which is already 25% off anyway, and also the whole ball of wax. So if you guys want to invest into your future, invest in yourself, start with the whole ball of wax. That is a great program. And you know what? It's $900. I think it's $899, but you can save probably $150+ when you use the not Brian's 10. That's the Green Friday. Promo code Green Friday is how you save 15% off of that. So that's huge. I'm telling you guys what, if you want to line your business up for success in 2021 and you want to, learn all the how-tos from the training programs, get a coaching call in there, all the postcards, everything that we have access to, all the resources, that's what's included in the whole ball of wax. So if you're just looking to get your business started, not only will today's topic really help you guys out, but so will the whole ball of wax. So let's do this really quick. That's the couple quick announcements that I have. I'm going to kick it over to the best producer in the biz. By the way, did you guys not like his jokes and his ad libs last, I think Wednesday and Friday? Now, every day when Marty does a podcast episode for us, they're always really good, smooth transitions. And he always has some fun things to say in ad lib. But I swear to God, Friday night was some of the Friday's episode was some of the best stuff. I had to play it for Liz when we were going out to dinner, and we were just laughing because he's got some really good jokes. Something about turkey and bacon, and don't be the bacon or don't be the turkey, something like that. But anyway, let's kick it over to the best producer in the biz, and we'll come right on back.
Brian, I've got a confession to make. I think I've made a really big mistake by occasionally throwing in some corny humor, because now podcast listeners have jokes. They're DMing me their jokes on Instagram, hoping that I'll share them. And most are pretty bad. Some are certainly not safe for work. And then there's Christmas humor from Ronnie, who says, "What do you call a poor Santa Claus?" Well, I don't know, Ronnie. What do you call a poor Santa Claus? Saint Nicholas. Saint Nicholas. Blame Ronnie, not me.
Are you a turf care pro? It's time to upgrade what you put down with the latest technology from Lesco. Step up to a full line of advanced turf-boosting fertilizer innovations, or put down seed that's developed to excel in your area. Either way, the next level in turf care is just a few bags away. To find the right products for you, visit lesco.com or your local Site One branch.
Support our sponsors, and we'll keep making the Fullerton Unfiltered podcast.
All right, guys. Well, cool deal. Well, let's do this. Let's just jump right back into the topic here, which is talking about financing equipment and what I do. We're going to keep it really narrow, one topic, extremely simple. Now, before we go too deep down the rabbit hole, I want to give you guys two resources here that you can listen to, which was some previous episodes that we've already done. Okay, so number 19, I think it is the episode called Don't Dull the Scalpel. Definitely one of our most downloaded and rave reviews, if you will, of episodes that we've done on the podcast today. And that is my get out of debt story, but how I use debt to get out of debt. Okay, how I use debt to grow my company, kind of slingshot forward in how we kind of have the business we have today. And this is not theory. This is stuff that I've actually done. That is one of my most favorite episodes that we've ever done with the podcast. Number 90, upgrading your setup on a budget. Okay, so maybe you want to use debt, maybe you don't want to use debt. But I gave an example of somebody who goes from a utility trailer in a truck and kind of like an older trailer and an older mower, and like 4 or 5 different bottlenecks as you're trying to upgrade your rig, and you're trying to figure out, what do I upgrade first? What can I upgrade to get cash flow coming in? Upgrade that. Then what's the next bottleneck? And it's kind of like this domino, right? So if you guys want two really good resources by the time you're done with this, I'll try to mention this by the end of the podcast. You can just go through the old shows. But episode 19 and episode 90 were really, really good, which will kind of be like a continuation of this topic we're going to have today. So let's go all the way back. Let's talk about a little bit of context here. When I was financing equipment, here's what I want to say. When you're trying to upgrade your setup, your rig, it can be a truck, it can be a trailer, it can be a mower, it can be, honestly, a backpack blower. It doesn't need to be anything like super expensive, like 2, 4, 5, 10 grand. Anytime you're trying to upgrade your equipment, if you need to finance things, financing is out there to help you get something new, kind of front it to your business, to yourself, make payments on it, and hopefully that alleviates a bottleneck, a crimp in the hourglass, if you will, to allow you to expand your business and grow. So, for example, let's take a really good case study, which is a lawnmower. A lawnmower, let's just say it's 10 grand. Some of them are 7, 8, 9 grand. Some of them are 12, 14, 15,000. Okay. So let's say that we're just financing a mower for $10,000 in this example we're going to use for the rest of this podcast. That mower is $10,000, but if you financed it over, let's say, 0% for 42 months, and 0% is the interest rate. So you're going to have, I don't know what that is if you divide it into 42, 10 grand into 42 months, or vice versa, whatever it is. It probably comes up to $175 to $225 a month. Okay. So for $250 a month, you finance this piece of equipment. And now what? What can you do with that mower? And here's the opportunity. Here's the opportunity cost. Here's the upside. Now that you have this mower, in theory, you should be able to do $1,000, $2,000, $3,000 a week mowing grass, and let's say that you do $2,500 a week. Maybe it's just you, maybe you and a guy. And that's nothing to scoff at. But let's say you're doing $2,500 a week in mowing, gross, and you have 4 weeks in a month. Now you have $10,000 a month coming in. So you have a mower that's $175, or let's just keep it simple, $200 a month to finance. But you'll be able to bring in 10 grand gross in new revenue as long as you guys can get the customers, right? So here's the attitude is that anytime that I'm looking to finance equipment, if I can get an interest rate at 0%, why would I not borrow that money at 0%? Okay, we're going to talk about my opinion, my philosophy here. Do whatever you want. Whether you're a Dave Ramsey guy, a Robert Kiyosaki guy, a Grant Cardone guy, pick your person, okay? Just don't get confused in different philosophies along the way. Just figure out what works for you. But what has worked for me is if I can go get a lawnmower or a piece of equipment at 0%, and it's called OPM for all of our fancy people out there, other people's money, why would I not go and use somebody else's money to borrow against buying that lawnmower and get 0% interest? And here's why. It doesn't cost me anything, arguably, to borrow that person's money, somebody else's money. Now, along the way, I'm building my credit. I'm building my credit score. So there's a lot of intangibles that are going to come from borrowing and growing a business that way. You ever have a buddy out there or maybe a family friend, like, man, I pay cash for everything. And they're proud of that. And I do get it. But as a business owner, you know what's more impressive to me than paying cash for things? Having a stellar credit score, stellar cash flow, and great credit. Now, the world system is ridiculous. That is absolutely not what we're trying to do, especially if you're a Christian. You don't want to be participating in the world system. However, you still live here. It's like you still live on planet Earth. Even if you're a Christian, you have to work in the world system, and you have to learn how to work with their rules too. There's a heavenly system and there's an earthly system, but we're not going to go down spiritual talks. If you want spiritual talks, go to Paul Jameson's podcast on Sunday. He's got the Sunday morning service. I'm turning it into Sunday morning service for Paul Jameson over here, which I love his Sunday morning services. I listen to those in the morning on Sunday. Go figure. I got Preacher Paul. So I love that. But here's the deal. I can now grow my life, my business with credit, cash flow, and good credit scores, okay? And I got some really good things here. I know I'm kind of putzing around here, but let me just keep it simple. If you can get a 0 to 4% interest rate on equipment, generally speaking, most people that have any financial wit about them would say, that's okay. That's pretty good. That's a decent rate. Okay. If you get a new mower and you're like, I don't have the best credit score, or I just got out of a divorce and I got to finance some mowers. Hey, you know what? I get it. Maybe you don't have a 800 credit score or a 740, maybe a 600 or 650. And you got a car payment and you got, cell phone and utility bills that have been in your name for 2 or 3 years. Generally speaking, Synchrony Financial or Sheffield Financial, good old Sheffield, those guys will loan you the money for a mower. Maybe they'll give you 7 to 10 grand. And if you call up and you ask for a little bit more of a credit increase, sometimes they'll do it too. Let's say you're buying a new mower for 10 grand, you want to get approved for 8. Just say, hey, can you guys bump this up to 10? Your dealer can call their contact and usually get that bumped up. Little pro tip there. Because that's what I had to do to get my first zero-turn mower. We got approved for $8,500. We applied for 96. That was my second mower. So I already had some good history paying off a $5,300 Viking walk behind. And they're like, oh yeah, this guy's got some history with us. He needs a little bit more. Yeah, he's got some credit. He's got some history. He's got a good credit score, right? Which is important. So if you get 0 to 4%, that's still pretty good. Okay. That's pretty favorable. For example, let's say I want to finance a car, and let's say the car is 50 grand and I can get 1.99% financing. Why would I not take advantage of that? Because here's the 202, and this is the kind of stuff that I love to go down the rabbit hole maybe more one day, is the upside, the opportunity cost, what else could I be doing with that money otherwise? Now, maybe you're 18 and you're just learning this kind of stuff, but if you're 34, 35, you're probably nodding your head. Right now, let's say I can take the same money for 10 grand and get 0%. And I can go take my 10 grand that I maybe have in the bank, and I can go invest into something else that earns me 4, 6, 8, 10, 12%, right? You look at what Amazon did this year, Tesla did this year, Facebook did. I mean, that's like stocks and all this mess. Why would you not go and invest into something else that can make you a higher percentage back, right? So that's why right now, the boomers of this generation, or the boomer generation, they're all financing, not all of them, because like I think like 2/3 or 75% of those people are able to pay cash for their downgraded home. So a lot of them are moving out of their $800,000 and $1 million McMansions, and they're downgrading to a simple home, like a $400,000 home. Well, they've done well. Most of them have done well over their lifetime. And so they can downgrade and pay cash for those homes, especially with what they made on the upside from their home appreciating, right? But I heard a stat like 2 or 3 months ago that a lot of them are choosing to finance because you can get mortgage rates at 2% right now. It was 3%. So why would you not borrow money at 2 or 3% and then take that money and at a minimum maybe go put it in the stock market and make 8%? Or whatever. Now, don't send me emails and text messages like, oh, well, the stock market gets 4% or 12% or 25% or this investment, whatever. Okay. Just the concept here is, why would you not take money at 0%, take your money and go invest it into something that makes 4, 8, 10, 20, 300%. I mean, gosh, look at what Tesla did. It's funny. My very first episodes, I was talking about Tesla being at like $180 a share or whatever. And right now it was like, I don't know, $1,200, $1,400. It was like, I don't even know. I don't really follow stocks, but get the concept. Like, it's just crazy. Why would you not go put your money where you can get 100%, 200% return? Everybody who bought all my stock investor friends out there though, right now, they're like, man, Carnival and Louis Vuitton and all these different like luxury brands, things are like up like crazy. But why would you not borrow that money? So here's what I say. Anytime, rule of thumb, most financial folks would say if you're going to borrow anywhere from 0 to 4% is pretty good. Why? Because you can borrow money cheaper, take your money and go invest it and get a better return than spending your own money. So the people that are like, well, here's another part of the philosophy. So listen up. Other people, they're like, oh man, like I pay cash. Okay, well, maybe you don't want to, and it comes down to your personal philosophy, you and your wife or how you want to handle your life. There's nothing wrong with paying cash for things. But a more savvy investor, a more intelligent investor would say, you paid cash for that? Why would you not go leverage that money to make you more money? So somebody who says like, well, I pay cash for everything I do. Well, you might look to somebody who's like a Dave Ramsey person might say, oh, dude, like you're the best, man. Like, dude, I aspire to be like you. I want to be debt free. I want to build my business how you're doing it. And you know what? You're that guy's hero, or that guy is your hero, right? The pay cash for things people. But then let's say there's a different philosophy. There's 2 different rails on this track. And somebody is the go invest and make money with your money person. And then you tell somebody who likes to leverage and has like the Grant Cardones, the Robert Kiyosaki's, they whether it's real estate or in the stock market, right? You tell them, dude, I just paid cash for this thing. It was 10 grand. And they're going to look at you and go, why on earth would you pay cash? And you're like, what? Like, I thought the goal was to pay cash and to be debt free. And they go, maybe like for the newbie, maybe for the newbie in finances, maybe for the newbie who's an investor. And again, I'm not getting into your guys' stuff. I'm just trying to give some context. But let's say you tell that to Robert Kiyosaki or Grant Cardone, and they go, why would you ever pay cash for something? Why didn't you go take that 10 grand and go get a 10, 20, 30% return with some other investment, right? Do you guys get the concept? So be careful who you talk to. Be careful who you confide in. Be careful who you talk to with your life philosophies, right? I've said this on the Don't Dull the Scalpel episode is like, you know, if you listen to Grant Cardone all day, but then you go to church and they promote Dave Ramsey, or you're, you know, a big Robert Kiyosaki person and you're like 15 years into building your real estate empire and you're leveraged with, you know, $6 million in debt, but it's making you, you know, $30,000 a month in cash flow. But then you go to a Dave Ramsey seminar that says like debt is bad and debt is the devil. You might get confused. So that's what I want to do. I want to just educate. I'm not trying to tell you guys which philosophy to work with. I told you my philosophy is I use debt to slingshot. I leveraged 100 grand worth of debt. We paid that off in like 24 to 36 months. And we do a couple $100 grand a year in business because of it. So far. I mean, that's so far. Who knows where we can go with what we have right now, because our revenue is going up all the time. So here's what I'd say. 0 to 4%, you're pretty safe. And also the topic I wanted to talk about for just a minute here was when to pay off equipment. This is also another one that I've learned along the way. And this was my personal philosophy is, let's say you have the 10 grand in the bank. And I get this question a lot on the coaching calls is, hey, I'm going to go buy this mower. It's 10 grand. I got, you know, 10.5 in the bank. I'm just going to go pay cash for it. Here's what I'm going to propose. Maybe don't pay cash for it. Maybe finance that mower, go get 0, 1, 2%, and take that 10 grand that you have in the bank and figure out how to leverage it and make it work for you to make you more money. So for example, that 10 grand that you have in the bank, maybe you can go and spend $2,500 to $3,000 of it on labor, hiring 1 or 2 new guys, because we got to pay them every week or every other week and make sure that they're taken care of. You can go buy supplies. You can go buy postcards. You can go buy yard signs. You can do Facebook and Instagram ads, whatever you're doing. And your goal is to take that 10 grand and go triple it, quadruple it, right? Make that into $20, $30, $40, $50,000 by leveraging what I just said, your marketing, materials, and labor. So a lot of people will say, oh, dude, I got 10 grand in the bank. I'm going to go buy a $10,000 lawnmower. And although that's not a bad philosophy and not a bad thought, my attitude is, why don't you go take that money and double it, triple it, quadruple it into investing into other things that can grow it. Here's what I would say. If you guys have that 10 grand in the bank and you're able to leverage all that money, now you can start making money with your money. And while you're borrowing somebody else's at 0%. So if we want to talk about paying off the equipment, there's no urgency to necessarily pay off that equipment. If we have 0% on 42, well, nothing's really going to change there for right now. So a lot of people are like, well, I get 10 grand back in the bank, right? I'm gonna go pay this off. No, let's wait until we have multiples of that in the bank. What am I trying to say? Let's keep it really simple. Let's say that you finance that mower, it's 10 grand balance, you got 10 grand in the bank. Wait till you have $20,000, $30,000, $40,000 in the bank, and then go pay off the $10,000 mower. I see all too often people pay things off too early. And why is that? Well, I mean, they think that getting out of debt is a good thing, and it is a good thing. Again, this is my philosophy. I'm just telling you, there's nothing wrong with leveraging business debt, in my opinion, as long as you're intelligent with it. Again, that's the big caveat. Go back to episode 19. It'll go right through and tell you guys exactly what I mean by all that. But again, if you have 10 grand that you owe on that mower, go double, go triple, go quadruple that money with labor, materials, and marketing. And then once you have $20,000, $30,000, $40,000, $50,000 in the bank, well, then go pay off the mower that you have $8,500 left on it or $9,100 left on the balance. So that's my attitude is there's nothing wrong with financing equipment. And of course, we want the most favorable financing rate. Now, here's one thing I'll say. Even if you got a 6, 7, 8, 9% financing rate, that's still not bad. Okay, it's still not the end of the world. You've been programmed and taught that's bad. That's wrong. Even if you bought a new mower and you didn't have stellar credit or credit history or credit score, and you had a 7.99% interest rate, and you make a $225 a month payment, and 50 of it goes to interest, and only $175 goes to principal. So what? Is that the end of the world? No, because the attitude is we want to get more revenue coming in. We want to make more money. So if we can still get that mower working for us to bring in another 10 grand a month in gross revenue, then dude, who cares about $50 along the way? This is the kind of stuff that really kind of impeded my growth for a long time. I was like, I want to get it just right. I want to just get it perfect. Now, I'm not giving you permission to just go finance the mower for 8% interest. So fight for those interest rates. I was on the phone with a credit union, and I actually told them that I want to borrow a certain amount of money for my Tesla, and I'm financing the Tesla. We could pay cash for it, but I'm financing it. Why? Because I can get 1.99% interest and use it as a business expense. So that being said, why would I not go borrow money at 2% and then take the other, let's say it's $75,000 we owe on the car or whatever. I don't even think it's that much. I think it's $65,000. I'm putting a chunk down. If I can go take that $65,000 and go put it into other things like stocks or investments or real estate or REITs, or here's the tip, I can take 60 grand, go build a pole barn, make YouTube videos on it, and have that $60,000 pole barn make me $100,000 by making YouTube videos with it long term, maybe over 2, 3, 4 years. So I can go borrow 2% money, which, it's such a joke. It's such a joke. Go borrow that, and then I can go take my money and leverage it and go make more money with it somewhere else. Now, if you can't go build a pole barn and make YouTube videos, go take the 60 grand and go put it into Tesla stock or go put it into Amazon, right? And I'm not a financial advisor here, okay? This is just my opinion. So I got the disclaimer at the end, right, Mr. Producer? But what I'm trying to say is keep your money in your pocket. Keep your cash working for you and grow it the best you can and borrow the money. Even if you borrow money at 8%, it's not the end of the world. And if you go talk to your mom or you go talk to your guidance counselor, you go talk to your teacher, they might say, oh man, that's bad. Give me some latitude here. But if you go talk to your pastor, if you go talk to somebody who's taking a Dave Ramsey course, they might say, oh dude, that's bad. That's evil. Again, go back to episode 19. You'll realize that is not bad or that is not evil. Now, we don't want to be living and swimming in debt. Where people get bit, here's the part that all my debt-free people want me to talk about. Where you get in trouble is when you finance the mower, you finance the trailer, you finance the truck, you finance the debris loader, you finance the mower, you finance the snowplow, and now you got 7 or 8 different payments, and then you break your leg, right? That's where you get bit. So here's my stern warning is don't get 10 different payments necessarily. Don't be the guy out of the gate that gets $90,000 and has 4 or 5 different payments. I'm not advocating that. Go back to episode 90 and you'll hear me say, actually, that I don't believe in that. I believe in growing incrementally, growing step by step. I'm not an advocate of just go out there willy-nilly and go spend a lot of money on equipment and finance the hill. I'm not saying that at all. What I am saying is don't be afraid to finance something. Don't be afraid to invest in your business. This is not the same as you going to Best Buy and buying an OLED, curved TV from Panasonic for $4,000. That's a liability. That's a doodad. That's a consumer good. That's useless to you. Unless you're somehow able to make money with that TV, I wouldn't be trying to do that. But we're trying to grow a business, okay? And I know there's people out there, pay cash or die. I get it. However, that's not true. It's not entirely true. Okay. One other thing I wanted to talk about is, let's say you got that same analogy with $10,000 in the bank and you finance a $10,000 mower. Now your payment is, like we talked about, $200 a month. Let's say you do break your leg. Let's say something happens and you are out for 6 weeks, 8 weeks. How many payments can you make with that $10,000 cash in your bank account? I don't know what 10,000 is and 200 or vice versa. But you can make payments for 40 or 50 months on that mower before you ever really start to sweat. Okay, so I like keeping my cash on hand just in case there is an emergency, right? In the beginning, keep your cash on hand, multiply it, grow it. Once you have some more cash, go invest it. If worst case scenario, you just keep that same 10 grand in your bank account, at least you have a buffer. At least you have an emergency fund. There's my Dave Ramsey people. At least you have an emergency fund. And I like Dave. I got nothing against Dave. I'm just talking about Dave's a great start. In my opinion, he's a bad finish. And I like learning how to grow wealth. And Dave Ramsey does not teach you how to grow wealth. He teaches you how to get out of debt. And that might cut some of you, but that's just the truth. Okay, there's other philosophies out there. There's a bigger world ecosystem than just stuff that Dave Ramsey preaches. Listen to somebody else and just hear what they have to say. Okay, that's all I'm trying to do. And I'm not the arbiter of truth. I'm just another guy out there. I got my life philosophy and I know what works for me and I know what me and my wife have decided to commit to. So sometimes it's okay to keep your cash in the bank and make payments on something, right? I'd rather keep that 10, 20, 30 grand. Let's say you go buy a truck and it's $55,000. Well, put 5 or 10 or 15 grand down, 20% down. That's fine. Get the best rate you can based on how much you got to put down, but then keep the rest in your checking account as a safety net. Right? What if you need unexpected repairs or unexpected this or something else happens, and you need that emergency fund? That's okay to keep that cash on hand. So this is what I wanted to talk about on today's episode. It's don't be afraid to finance. Don't be afraid to invest in your business. Don't get bit with 6 or 7 different payments. Okay, that's not what I'm advocating here. But I've had a lot of people where we've done coaching calls, and I'm not giving permission to people to go buy a $60,000 dump truck. That's not what I'm saying at all. But I just want to get you guys to think. And there's been a couple people where, they're like, I'm trying to buy a $10,000 lawnmower. Like, should I just pay cash? Should I do this? And man, I don't want to finance it because financing is evil. And I'm like, look, dude, there's a local hospital down the road. They bought a CAT scan, MRI machine. It was $2 million. They financed it. They probably pay $25,000 a month on the cost of it, but they're doing, $300,000 a month in CAT scans and MRI scans. So are they evil because they have debt? No, they're doing life-saving work and life-saving operations and scans and trying to help you have a better quality of life and health. But they're financing that MRI, so I can't go in that MRI if it's not debt-free. And that's what I want to talk about. Some people get so aggressive, they go from one ditch to the other, or they're so in this this camp of like, dude, you got to be debt-free to run a business. And I just laugh at that. That is not true, and that is bad advice. That's great advice for them, but that is not overall the best advice. You want to know why? Because your life situation and circumstances are entirely different. And so when you just hear somebody say, get out of debt or be debt-free, it's relative. You know, another guy said, and then you know what? Here's the other thing. Another guru will come along and say, if somebody says what guys like Brian just said, watch out. Watch out for those guys. And I'm always like, no, watch out for you that tries to be predatory on people who can't think for themselves just yet. And instead, what they say is, don't listen to Brian, listen to me. Don't listen to that guy. You should listen to me instead. You should buy my coaching call and my training program and my life philosophy stuff. What? It's like, dude, what are you talking about? Like, I have no agenda here. If you book a coaching call, you don't book a coaching call. Frankly, like, it doesn't change much in my life. Like, it's not about the money part. We just do it to kind of cover our time. But I love doing coaching calls and hanging out with you guys. I don't think there's been a coaching call, and this is not selling the coaching call, but I'm just saying, and I can't promise this, but I'm just saying, I don't think there's been one that I've done the last 3 months that hasn't been an hour and a half. I mean, straight up. Like, everybody's on the coaching call. Hey man, I want to be respectful of your time. You're an important person. You do this, you do that. I know you're a busy person. I'm like, actually, I'm just sitting with my feet up. I got my space heater going, and I'm just kind of chilling, bro. And I got time. Let's just hang out. Let's just talk. How can I help you? How can I serve you? And then I've had people recently that they've been on other coaching calls, not Paul, not Caleb Allman, but, you know, other people. And they're like, yeah, dude, this guy, all he did was like talk to me, wanted me to like buy this other program and like upsell me into this thing. I go, yeah, I hate that. Okay. I hate people that do that. They have a business to run. They have a life to do. I don't hate them. It's just really shady. And so here's what I tell you. Just figure out your own thought process. Figure out your own philosophy. I don't have any ulterior motives, any ulterior agendas. Okay. I'm just trying to shoot you guys straight. This is what I wanted to talk about, was financing some equipment. Don't be afraid to go finance something. Now, like, last thing I'll say, like, my Boss plow was $7,500. There was no favorable financing. It was like 8 to 12%. And I'm like, what happened to 0%? And I've told this story a couple of times. The guy was like, well, there's no, nobody does part-time snow. He's like, you either commit to snow or you don't commit to snow. And he goes, you can go belly up in your first 3 months doing snow. He goes, we don't finance plows because we don't know if you're going to be here next winter. He goes, a lawnmower, a little bit different. Anybody can cut grass and charge $20 or $50 and go make their money. I went, oh, well, that's kind of interesting. So what did I do? I paid cash. I paid cash for that plow. Now, I could have ran, 8% financing and maybe got 9% in the stock market. Who knows, right? But it was already 8%. I was like, look, there's probably not going to be much I can do with this. So what did I do? Took my own attitude or my own advice that I'm giving you guys, and I paid cash for the plow. So don't think I'm just saying like 0% on everything. But I will say, it's not the end of the world if you go buy something. Some of you guys, I guess the main takeaway I want to do is that I've had 4 or 5 of you guys do coaching calls, and one guy's like, yeah, dude, I got 10 grand, but I'm going to spend it all in the mower. I'm like, well, what's your checking account balance after that? He goes, like $150. I go, whoa. Like, and then what happens if you get, 2 tires that get, nails in them and you need $400 for tires? Well, I didn't think about that. Well, that's why we're talking. We're just having that conversation. So I'm not saying pay cash. I'm not saying be debt-free. I'm a big advocate about being personally debt-free. But just like the hospital, okay? So they finance an MRI machine, and let's say it's $2 million. They're still doing a lot of good work and making a lot of money. And by the way, they're helping some investors make money. Like, that's this whole capitalist society is about, is helping other people make investments to make money. So, all right, that's my soapbox. Don't be afraid to go finance a dump truck. Don't be afraid to go finance a mower. Don't go be afraid to leverage $5,000 of mulch or $5,000 of rock salt to go put that down. Get a line of credit. Like, it's not the end of the world. Just be smart. Just be smart. That's my biggest takeaway: is get educated, be smart, be intelligent. Go back and listen to episode 19, which was "Don't Dull the Scalpel." I love that episode. That is hands down probably one of my favorite ones, because again, that's how I got out of debt, was using debt. And I'm not saying you got to do that. My wife and I, we took a 36-month window. We put our nose to the grindstone like you would never imagine. We ate beans and rice, and we did not do anything fancy or Fullerton. We lived in a dumpy apartment because we had a mission, we had a plan, and thank God everything worked out. But it worked out because we had a plan, and I had other advisors and people I would talk to and confide in. And I'm like, hey, this is what we're doing. They're like, yeah, that'll run, that'll work. Send it. And then we worked the plan. Episode 90. Maybe you're like, hey, I don't want to leverage a bunch of debt, but I don't mind financing one or two things, but how do I grow incrementally and keep your overhead low and keep your finances low? Go to episode 90. I talked about upgrading your setup on a budget, which was a case study from another coaching call we did. It was an awesome episode. I think it was really, really helpful, and it can really help you grow your business to keep your overhead low, keep your financing low, and upgrade your equipment to get the most revenue and the biggest bang for your buck to help you get that cash flow coming in. So, all right, that's what I got for you guys today. Short and sweet. I think it's a timely episode. I know so many of you guys are upgrading right now. It's not even funny. You guys are upgrading now. You're upgrading for next spring. You guys are pricing stuff out on all the different mowers online, the equipment, the trucks, the trailers. It's exciting time. This is the next 3 or 4 months when we do all that research. And then February, March, we pull the trigger. And hopefully March, April, the gates open and we can all zip on out there and start making that money. So, all right, that's what I got for you guys. Don't forget to check out the Green Friday sales on launchpreneuracademy.com. Equipment Defender, Cujo, IsoTunes. What else we got? The postcard training program. Guys, so many great resources out there, and that's what I got for you guys today. So this is just my attitude. This is just my philosophy. This is just my opinion. Don't send me DMs. Don't send me emails saying, oh, well, Brian said this or Brian said that, or don't pick other fights with other gurus out there that they have their way, they have their philosophy. Look, everybody's got their own way. Everybody's got their own approach. I'm just giving you mine. Okay. Remember the grocery store method. If you can remember any one thing from this podcast, take what you need, leave what you don't. We can still be friends by the end of this. Okay. So that's what I got for you guys today. Thanks so much for letting me pour into you guys. And if you guys want to share this on Instagram, tag me and love to repost and let me know what you guys think about the episode. If it was fire, dope or nope. And that's what I got. All right, let's kick it over to Marty, Mr. Producer. Take it away.
That Green Friday code Brian was mentioning expires tonight at midnight for you that are listening on Monday, November the 30th, 2020. I highly recommend the postcard training program and the How to Get New Customers program. And here's the reason. They can both supercharge your ability to grow and help you afford some of the new equipment that you've been thinking about. You got to get new customers to pay for the equipment. We certainly want to thank Site One for helping to pay for the show so that we can bring you the Fullerton Unfiltered podcast. Site One is awesome. I think they're now in 45 states, something like that. They've got a selection of more than 100,000 products. I could go on and on about these guys, but let's hear from them.
Landscape Pros. Lighting installations are a bright idea for growing your business, and Site One is here to help with the expertise you need and a special offer on Pro Trade lighting. For a limited time, buy 6 Pro Trade aluminum LED uplights or path lights and get one free. These lights are built tough, and this offer won't last long. So stop by your local Site One today. Visit site1.com to find the branch nearest you.
Thanks for taking the time to listen to the Fullerton Unfiltered podcast with Brian Fullerton. We hope you enjoyed this production. If so, please consider leaving us a 5-star review for the show. While the techniques and ideas presented here are designed to help you grow a more successful and profitable business, no one can guarantee these results for you. We want to emphasize that entrepreneurship is not easy, and the ideas presented here are just the opinions of Brian Fullerton and his respective guests. No one can guarantee success for you. That being said, we hope the ideas presented here help you and motivate you to go on out there and crush it with your own business.
Fullerton Unfiltered Podcast.
Thanks for listening, and we hope to see you on the next episode.
This has been a Brian Fullerton and Mr. Producer production.